What's up, guys? So a lot of things to report. Crypto.com is laying off 20% of their staff, and it's kind of funny. It was like preparing for the crypto winter, which, you know, has been going on and will continue to go on. So they're laying off 20%. And then, you know, I think Coinbase did another round of layoffs. Their stock has been pumping recently, so that's been kind of interesting. People taking a chance on buying some of that up. Gemini and Genesis just got sued by the SEC, which SEC's have been on everybody, but obviously there's a squabble between Gemini and Genesis, you know, over the situation with Three Arrows Capital or whatever. So all this stuff's intertangled. When FTX went down, we're still seeing the repercussions and the fallout from that. And then it continues to get worse because it's like it obviously exposes some of these companies that were possibly doing something unscrupulous, or, you know, they really didn't have the funds that they purported, or whatever has occurred. And then, you know, suddenly the SEC's after them, or other governing bodies and stuff like that. So the situation then gets worse. Another interesting story I saw was that HIVE Blockchain, which I'm not talking about the HIVE Blockchain that's a fork of Steam. I'm talking about the mining group, and it's the ticker symbol's HIVE actually. They just deployed thousands upon thousands of mining, basically thousands of miners. It was like 5,800 miners. They have mines in Canada and they have mines in Sweden. Now, the immediate thing I thought of this is like, well, okay, they had done these purchase orders and they're going to put these into service, and the difficulty is, you know, still at a level that, and with the power consumption and with the price of energy and stuff like that, it's going to be unprofitable. So, but they feel like they have to allocate the money because investors have given them money to run their operation. Now, if you live in Canada and you live in Sweden, please leave a comment below. I have a feeling that your power is not that cheap. Power is not that cheap in those nations. Now, even if they have industrialized power and they have an industrial rate, you know, I just have a hard time believing that it's 4 cents a kilowatt hour power or less. And like I've told you guys before, you really can't scale these mines and make it through a bear market without having 4 cents a kilowatt hour power or less. Especially when you're in countries that didn't manufacture those ASICs and those chips weren't manufactured there. You're not getting it right off the assembly line like the miners in China once did, where they're able to get them, put them right into service. You've really got to be in these countries to have cheaper power and cheaper labor cost to maintain these larger scale mines, because you have the people that have the technical know-how to go around in these facilities and maintain this equipment. It costs too much. So once again, a lot of these miners are in troubles, or they're at various points of their trouble still at this point. So that being said, I thought that was an interesting story that all these additional units were going up as other mining outfits are going bankrupt, filing for bankruptcy. Another thing to mention is the CPI data is going to be changing next month. So the way they track inflation, typically it was done in this 2-year process, going back 2 years. Now it's only going to go back a year. And what they're doing with this, they're manipulating the data to tell you that inflation is not as bad as it previously looked, or that it's going down. Another way to trick consumers. But are you guys really tricked when you go to the grocery store and even shopping at, let's say, a place like Walmart that's traditionally been maybe a place you could get a better deal, and you're consistently shell-shocked by the price of food, by the price of eggs? You know, you buy the cheapest eggs and you're seeing prices of, you know, $7.50 for a dozen. I guess a bunch of chickens and stuff are going to die in California because something with the railroad and they couldn't get enough feed over there or something like that. And so these chickens are going hungry or whatever, and you know, and so that's probably going to jack cost up even more. And who knows? I mean, when is a dozen eggs going to hit $10? And at that point, and that's the thing, we've had this recent crypto pump, which I am kind of surprised it went as high as it did. But you have this, and then somebody can say, well, if I would have just jumped in there a week ago, you know, 7-8 days ago, you could have caught a little bit of a bounce for sure. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of false rallies, or there's going to be a lot of kind of situations where, yeah, it could have been a quick swing trade, but it still plays true. The other stuff I was saying 2 weeks ago, that if you were buying, if you were cost averaging in at those levels, you're not going to get hurt if you're cost averaging in and you're going to hold this stuff for 2-3 years, and that's your outlook. You weren't going to get hurt averaging in 2 weeks ago, and I said that in the video. You guys can go back and look at that. Now at this point, you have a decision to make, depending on your situation with other stuff or other investments. Do you want to kind of sell this rip? Because I just don't see this being some sort of sustainable thing, and that we're going to kind of go, because it's essentially went parabolic in some respects here in the last 7-8 days, depending on what you're looking at. Obviously, there was a big pump on some of the stuff, Solana, Avalanche, other stuff. Avalanche signed a partnership, and there's been other somewhat good news from that accord, but there's still all this other stuff, the FTX stuff lingering. Now, the lawyers somehow convinced the judge in the FTX case to not release the information of who contributed to help out with this $250 million, you know, bond or whatever that's allowed scam bankman fraud, obviously, to allow him to still be on house arrest and stuff like that. They don't want to release the information. They feel like it's a risk, this whole thing. But we know what's happening. I mean, this whole thing is just a fraud, and you know, we can expect much more unjust, you know, rulings and stuff like that to occur in that. And I guess the trial date is set for October, so it's a ways off. And a lot of this stuff takes a while, guys. I mean, it could take years and years and years. And I even have recently saw some stuff pop back up, even about BitConnect. So you get 4 or 5 years removed from some of this stuff, and some of the stuff's still out there. There's still some things that are still lingering out there in the court systems. And, you know, so we'll see. But supposedly they supposedly found, you know, or have assessed that there's $5 billion worth of assets from the FTX situation. And but again, it's going to take so long to weed through all that and everything. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the cost of eggs? Are you guys in California? What's going on in Europe? What's going on in other places? Are you guys going to kind of sell this rip here with crypto, or are you just going to chill out and then keep dollar cost averaging in? What are you guys buying? Again, in my assessment, still with this recent pop and recent news and stuff like that, I'm still looking at the same. I mean, Litecoin has outperformed Bitcoin and the US dollar, you know, here for the last several months. So, and that's something I got, you know, I told you guys many times, even way back in the summer and towards the end of the summer and stuff like that, that was going to be the play. The Litecoin was going to be the play, and it's performed well. And I think we got about 3 or 4 months. Got three or four months on that play. Whether it really kind of gets a little lower into some of these buying opportunities or not really sure, but I could see it going over 100 for sure, and certainly could make its way on up to 150 when we get 3 or 4 months into this. But it depends what else is happening. Probably bank on $100 that you could get in, get out. Could be a swing trade and stuff like that. It's gotten a little bit higher here more recently, so it just depends where your cost average is, where you guys are with your averages. So anyway, guys, like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. See you guys later.